Good morning.
Good morning to all. Oo.
Welcome to the show again. And it's a very nice weather that we're having here in La Union. And of course, we're happy to, I hope that in wherever you are, that you're equally experiencing good weather and good health and good spirits. Okay.
We're all here today,
Oh,
ready to have our nice conversation
oh,
with you.
ano yung topic? Going green ba yan?
Yes, well,
Green is the way.
choice.
Oo. So,
Green
tingnan mo
is
naman ang pati background natin, very lush and green, di ba? Kaya it's a symbol of how, beautiful it is when you see something very lush, very green.
very
And
refreshing to the eyes.
Oo.
When your eyes are tired, you should go look at something green.
Actually, meron ngang studies na sa isang season, no? The window, yung isang lang view, walang window. Yung isang season na window, meron, nakikita mo yung greenery. Aba, talagang mas wow yung taong merong may view, no?
Talaga,
Mas relax,
connection to
mas
nature.
relax sila.
Mhm.
Kaya yan ay very beneficial talaga.
Yeah,
Your health.
kasi kaya green, di ba?
Oo.
Green. Yung color.
Mm-mm.
See, it represents nature.
Yes.
Oh,
Di
yeah.
ba? Dalawa yan eh. Isang green, isang blue.
Okay.
Blue is
Yeah.
water.
Marine. Ocean. Sa green, yung ating kalupaan. At saka yung mga puno. Hindi mo naman basta siyempre may mga lugar sa mundo na pag may winter, di ba, namamatay lahat ng green.
White na lang.
Oh, white.
Pero,
But the green is there beneath.
Yeah.
It's just resting.
Oo.
They're just, kumbaga, hibernating.
Mm.
Yes. Actually, they're getting ready for the burst of energy for spring.
Mm.
So you see, nowadays, ang bukang bibig
Hmm.
is about food
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
and getting the environment back on track.
Yes. So hopefully hindi lang bukang bibig, no? That it translates to
My friend said the other day na ang swerte-swerte ng mga tao dito sa Pilipinas.
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Kasi
Mm-mm.
he is based in the Middle East. Alam mo, ang color doon ay hindi green. Ang color doon ay medyo beige dahil mga sand, hindi ba?
Siyerto.
Oo, desierto. Ang hirap magpatago kaya ng halaman doon, hindi ba? Talagang meron silang drip irrigation to
Yeah.
water the plants. But here, sabi niya,
Natural na sa atin.
walang nag-aalaga. Nagiging green pa rin.
Mas gumaganda pa.
So lucky, we're so lucky. Oh.
Alam niyo ba, di ba, tayo, ngayon, mga suliranin sa ating society ngayon, yung parang nagkukulang tayo sa ating kakainin.
Oo.
Di ba?
Big problem.
Kaya ngayon ang pinag-uusapan ng liderato to the point na nag-aangkat pa tayo. We're importing food to feed our needs, the needs of our population.
Fulfill our needs. So,
Yeah. So, it is something of question. Kasi alam niyo dito sa lugar na to, o kaya punta kayo sa kagubatan. For example, here in this place. The tree behind us and that big bamboo clump there. Walang nagluluto para sa kanila para kumain.
wala silang importation and hindi sila nag-import, nag-smuggle ng pagkain.
Walang
Yeah.
groceries for them.
Very self-sufficient, as we may say. Talagang they can survive, without...
They live off the elements that nature provided them.
Which we could do rin,
And you know
di
what?
ba? If we know.
Titingnan nyo kung ano kalalaki sila. Wala silang nutritionist. Wala silang yung sige, teka, kakain muna ako sa agricultural, nourishment.
Wala silang kailangan na ahensya at department at saka para mag-manage ng kanilang existence, hindi ba? What to speak of us? Hindi
Exactly.
ba? Human beings are of higher intelligence.
That's the point.
Sana.
Kaya, dapat tayo, hindi tayo yung, alam nyo,
Hindi obvious.
big thing na pinag-uusapan
Kasi they
palagi.
misuse their intelligence.
Alam nyo, big thing na pinag-uusapan palagi, yung, hindi lang yung, kasi sa atin, minsan yung bukang bibig pangawid gutom.
Oo nga.
Oo,
Yes,
kaya kahit ano na lang
yes.
ilalagay sa bibig. Kailangan pag may ilalagay sa bibig, yung mabuti sa katawan.
Okay, kanina umaga, yun nga ang aking naging paksa. Sabi ko,
Galing po siya sa isang webinar kasi.
alam nyo, marami pa sa atin yung, kasi di ba pinaka-importante itong katawan natin, hindi ba sa atin, katawan
Right.
at isip, di ba?
Yes.
We give importance, binabahay natin,
Mm-mm.
inaalagaan natin, may self-care tayo palaging
May
ginagawa.
vaccination pa.
Yeah, lahat, hindi ba? Pangangalaga, palagi, pagising mo pa lang sa umaga ano bang gagawin ko ngayon? Yung ganun
Mm-mm.
See,
What's breakfast?
di ba? You're always thinking like this. But yet, you don't take the time to know, you see, this existence is very important for you. Di ba? You give it so much importance, but yet, do you know what you're putting in your mouth?
Oo.
Do you know where it came from? Do you know how it was grown? So many components, yeah?
Yes.
And then yet, you place a premium in protecting what you have and that of your children.
Mm-mm.
And now, because food is the issue, one of the biggest things that when we are faced with shortages, that means choices of food is limited because we have put ourselves in a situation we are very much dependent on the deliverables or what is being brought to us through via supermarket and markets.
Yeah,
and
we are only thinking of using
Sari-sari
packages
stores.
kasi, di ba?
tapos,
Oo.
di ba?
And to think, nasa news recently na yung packaged food, like yung noodles, hindi ba, merong warning na it's not so healthy pada kasi merong mga chemicals na hindi maganda.
Basta na sa package, mahirap na.
And
Iba
to
pa rin
think, yun ang
tunay
nagiging
from nature.
instant resource na go-to ng mga tao. Pag nagutom,
Kasi pagtawid gutom
Yun,
nga.
matawid
yun nga.
O kaya,
Convenience ang
Okay,
iniisip instead of nutrition.
pandesal
Wow, sarap.
na lumiliit. Tapos, pag sinabi mo, ito ang kamote.
mag-disagree.
Ang kamote. Wow. Di ba? Wala na tayong gano'n
Ay, oo.
yun. Ito,
Oo.
nature's packaging yan. Pero alam nyo kasi, nasanay tayo ganito. May joke dun.
Ano?
Di ba? Diyan, basahin nyo yung mga labels, lahat-lahat. Di ba?
Mm.
You have to learn to be reading labels.
Which is
Di
true
ba?
naman.
Before you buy anything, you have to learn to read labels.
If you're buying in the grocery, package.
Kasi sa grocery yung supermarkets di ba may
Oo.
fresh section.
Ayun, sa fresh
Okay,
madali
pag
lang.
kinuha niyo yung saging, makikita niyo, walang label.
Nakasulat doon.
Oo, yung nag-produce. O kaya
Yes.
kahit wala yung pinanggalingan, papaya,
At least you know what it is
gulay,
kasi wala nang
all of these
tamper.
but alam na
Nothing added or
marami
taken
kaya
away.
sa atin, alam ba natin kung ano ang magiging sustansya ng gano'n ng mga pagkain sa ating buhay?
Ayan. Yun dapat alamin natin kasi
Oo,
we're
kasi-
gonna eat it eh.
Alam mo,
Oo nga.
information technology ngayon, di ba?
Oo.
Isang pindot mo lang, boom, nandun na ang petsa, magbibigay sa inyo ng gara-gara.
Yeah.
Si patatas,
Oo.
ganito ang binibigay niyan. Si Big Nine, ganito bibigay niya sa'yo. Pero, kadalasan
Like cucumber, magaling pala yan for healthy hair.
oo.
Wow, kain tayong
Tapos,
cucumber.
Alam nyo, naggawa lang kasi certain exercises, humihinga kayo ng tama, may movement, yung buhok nyo, mangingitim. May mga ganun
Oh,
Hindi nyo na kailangan mag-dye.
Yeah.
So-
blackening.
But point is, you see, all of this information is there, but yet we tend to ignore it. Nourishment is very vital. Kaya ngayon ang pinag-uusapan ng ating mga liderato
Oh.
You see, pag ang pagkain ay nagkukulang, that means yung choices na bibili natin ay very limited. Whether or not masustansya yung ating kinakain o hindi. Basta lang makapaglaman ng tiyan natin para hindi, parang walang laman yung ating sikmura ang kasabihan. Kaya nga, ang Pilipino nga, ang ugali natin, kailangan may merienda tayo palagi. Kasi ayaw natin, mawawala ng laman yung tiyan natin. Di ba?
Meron ako teacher dati, she's from China. Tapos sabi niya, I can't understand, sabi niya, why the Filipinos eat 6 times a day. Because in China, they do not eat 6 times a day. Sabi niya, Oo nga, binilang pa kasi lagi may merienda in between. Tapos bago matulog, kakain din, naging 6 tuloy. Tapos ang ano pa, lagi merong kanin, di ba? Yung ano, merong
Three meals a day,
three
puro
main
may sinaing.
meals. Oo, kaya
Well,
hindi
naging habit na, not necessarily good.
hindi maintindihan nila bakit ganun kadalas tayong kumain.
Tapos
Not a
makikita
very
natin
good
na
habit, oo. But
ang-
wait, in terms of going green, our eating, di ba dapat, not only do we choose our food carefully, but we take na what is in season. And then yun nga, like he's saying, huwag na tayong bumili ng mga meron pang label na, in other words, it's processed. Kasi when you buy something packaged, the packaging is gonna be kalat, di ba? So it's not a green habit, di ba? But if you buy some fresh produce, you can go to the market, bring your bayong, wala kang pangkalat, it's a green habit. You get food that you know, this is enough.
Better yet,
this is a peanut.
kasi we're talking about food right now. Eh,
Oh.
kasi
Yeah, in relation
Going
to
green is part
going
of this,
green,
eh.
yes.
Oo.
Now, questions should arise amongst us is, you take an extra mile, kumbaga ng kasabihan, to source the food that you're eating
Or even grow it.
or grow it if you can.
Mm.
Right. Because at the end of the day, if we are dependent on what is being supplied of us, the tendency is that we will always take the shortcuts and the easy way, and yet not really understanding what we are doing, because we take premium on the health of our body and the health of our family.
Yes.
So we also have to put in context that there are things that we need to be doing. Ngayon, whether certain foods, alam nyo, katulad ngayon, ang issue is klima. Kaya nga we want to go green.
Yes.
The climate, it's a climate issue today, big time. What caused the climate issue that is hindering
Food production.
food production?
Oh,
Si connected lahat eh.
right.
Ano nga ngayon ang bakit nga nagkaganon-ganon?
Okay.
Problema tayo.
Alalahanin nyo, ang palay, for example, requires so much resources.
Especially
Water, sunlight. Ang mga palayan, kaya nga pag nakita nyo, you're driving and you'll see rice fields out in the open, di ba?
Oh, wala halos puno.
Wala halos puno.
Oo.
Hindi mabubuhay
Heavily
na maganda yan
trees,
sa may
no?
mga shade. Gusto
Okay.
niyang
Full sun.
pulsa. So ngayon, part of that, syempre, di ba tayo, pag lumabas tayo, try stay outside for a long time in the field.
Natutuyo tayo.
Natutuyo
Mainit
tayo.
na siya.
Mainit.
We don't have the type of body that like,
Pwedeng ibilad.
pero ang palay naman, pag nawala ng tubig, matutuyo rin.
So she needs both.
She needs
a lot
both.
of water, a
A
lot,
lot of
sun.
water. Ano yan, kumbaga na thirsty na halaman yan.
Yes.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
from planting to eating, di ba? Cooking it.
Lahat
Tubig all
kasi
the way.
magkakasama lahat yan eh.
Oo.
So when you talk about the impact of my eating to the climate, to the environment, this is where things are zeroed in. Kasi, for example, rice, if you eat, every Filipino eats at the rate we're
Average,
going,
average.
an average of 2.4 kabans of bigas
In
So-
how long?
in 1 year. So, ibig sabihin nun,
person.
per person yan.
Average yun. Iba mas
Average,
marami
siyempre,
pa.
but I'm just talking about average. Just
Yes.
stick to that.
Yes.
So that means we need at least 12 million metric tons of rice to feed the population. You can't even count that.
Dami.
Paano? Sobrang dami. Isang kilo ng bigas, no? Kailangan niya ng 3,500 liters of water
To grow.
to grow.
Wala pa yung cooking, no?
Eh, pag nagluto ka, dagdagan mo na naman tubig.
Oo, may
You know?
bigas ka pa.
So,
Water intensive.
Water intensive
Exactly.
siya.
Sobra siya sa tubig.
Labor intensive.
Right.
So,
So,
must say.
it only means, how does it impact the environment?
A lot.
First, tubig. Water
Yes.
is the most
Yes.
one of the most valuable resource.
Yes.
Okay. Next, the earth, yung kalupaan.
Binabago niya yung hugis ng earth, diba? To grow rice.
Not only that, but
Oo.
pinapalitan niya yung
Iba.
pinaka dynamics ng lupa, yung soil
oo.
biota, yung
Yes.
ecosystem ng lupa,
Yes.
ang daming binabago niya.
Tsaka tinatanggal pa yung mga puno.
Kada araro ninyo, siyempre kahit na damo yan or weeds, kahit yung rice nyo, yung rice ninyo,
Rice
Pag-
is that type of grass.
inanin nyo, at nilapag nyo sa field, di ba nagiging brown?
Yes.
Tapos, ang next step nun, pag nag-brown pa na nag-brown yun, habang nagpa-brown yun, yung carbon,
Nare-release.
nire-release niya. So, the moment you start to tamper with the coverings of the earth, from wild grass, weeds, to whatever is covering it, the forest, you release the carbon to the atmosphere.
Okay.
Kaya ngayon,
Kaya you never leave soil bare.
nature would always put a protective line
Oo, may covering.
in barren land.
Kaya
Kaya,
nagda-drop ng leaves, no?
paano kung nakatira kayo sa Middle East, katulad ng binanggit ninyo?
Eh, wala na. Wala na eh.
Kaya nga napakainit
Sana
eh.
Oo,
kaya
walang
mainit.
cover.
Right, oven. Simply wala kang greenery. Ngayon, tayo sa Pilipinas, kasi dito sa Asia, maraming lugar na nagtatanim ng sarili nating bigas na para kakainin. Staples yan eh.
Yes.
Kung hindi yung wheat, bigas o mais. Diba? Yung tatlong yan. So, nangyayari dyan, kada linis ninyo ng rice fields o agriculture fields, yung land use yan eh. Yung exposure ng lupa sa pag-araro ninyo, the carbon rises up in the air.
Ayun, dagdag sa
Dagdag.
problema.
Tapos pag sinunog pa yung dayaw.
Pag
Oh, yun
sinulog
na ba,
pa,
yan
mas
pa.
dadami pa.
Oo.
Ngayon, you do it 3 times a year. Pag nagtatanim ka ng bigas, 3 times a year.
Tapos meron din yung nagsusugar cane, nagsusunog din.
Alam niyo ba, kaya ba yung,
Pati-
pag tinignan yung lupa, ano kulay ng lupa kadalasan? Yung mga nourished lands, soil, makikita niyo maitim.
Dark
Yes.
brown.
High carbon content na sa lupa. High carbon yun.
It's stuck there.
Stuck there. Kasi hindi ba, pag nabulok ang
Sequestered
isang
siya.
halaman,
Oo.
hindi ba lahat ng kanyang biomass ang tawag, nagiging lupa siya eh.
Oo.
Okay,
Becomes
yeah.
part
Okay.
of the soil.
Becomes part of the soil. So, nasisequester yung carbon.
Okay.
The moment you plow your field, you get the grass, you get the covering out, trees, whatever, you release the carbon.
Again.
Okay. So, yung agriculture natin.
Kaya yung ibang lupa, hindi siya dark, maputla, no?
It's,
So
okay,
this
teka,
is
batiin
Kasi
natin muna
na-release yung mga carbon.
sige, batiin natin muna yung ating mga kasama. Okay, Salditan, good morning.
Good
Then,
morning.
Gemini Rose, good morning to you. A wonderful Saturday to you too. Then, Gopi Aboy, maayong buntag. Okay, from Cebu. Jen Shiva from, ito, kaibigan natin sa US too eh.
US,
Ah.
yes.
Josefa Yapes, na imbag na.
Agsapa, sir and ma'am. Ano kaya yung agsapa?
Then, Henry Yumol, na imbag. pa rin. Ilocano rin eh. Oh. Then,
Yes.
definitely Myra Muriel, good morning to
Yes,
you.
good morning. We miss you all also.
And then, also, ang dami pa lang habang listahan. Si Marisa Campoed and Mila Celeste, Abelina Aguas, and Gerardice Sanchez. Okay.
Yes. And Mila says, masarap ang topic nyo ngayon. I agree with you. Kailangan natin ng totoong pagkain. Masustansya na magaan pa sa bulsa.
Siyempre, kasi pag masustansya ang kinakain ninyo, paano gumagaan sa bulsa?
Eh, hindi siya Kasi nutrient dense siya.
Yes, nutrient
O,
dense.
busog
Maraming
ka.
sustansya sa iyong katawan mo. Hindi palaging, sa sandali ka palang kumain eh, gutom pa na.
Oo.
Kasi
Alam-
naghahanap ng sustansya.
Alam mo, sabi nung isang friend ko, actually, people are so worried about investments. No, they always like save up for a house, for a car, yan ang mga pinag-iisipan nila. Pero pinaka-investment din nila, they neglect the investment on health.
Yes, which is the most important.
And yet, pagdating ng time na magkasakit, ang laki ng nawawala at babayad sa ospital. Instead of making sure that you have the best in your diet and you have the best in terms of your environment para maging healthy, ito yung, kumbaga, not a priority. Hindi masyadong binibigyan ng halaga ng mga
So,
tao.
dapat baliktarin natin. Let's
Oo.
invest in our own bodies.
Let's minimize.
Our health.
Let's prioritize.
Oo.
Right.
What would be beneficial to our body and that of our family.
Yes.
And also, give it to another level, the extensions of, yan, sabi nga ni Francis Goen, health is wealth.
Yan.
Tunay.
Yan ang
Oo.
magandang investment.
Mhm.
No?
Kasi pag nagkasakit ka, aanin mo yung pera mo, hindi mo
At
pang
saka it does not
mahirap.
need, it does, as you're saying, it does not need to be very expensive because you are buying less of mga imported packaged food, but you are investing in the natural mga diet na mga kagaya kamote, di ba?
When you're going green kasi, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you're always making choices.
You're
What
making
will I
choices.
do? What shall I buy?
Just-
what shall I say?
Just as when you are, kasi since climate is the issue, we have to understand what is going on and what created the climate to the point where,
Problem.
yes, the
climate
changing of the
Yeah.
climate, the balance in
Yung
nature.
mga choices na natin dati na hindi
So
naman
from what you
mabuti.
said about the rice pala, it is not really very good to always prioritize rice production kasi nga maka-add pa siya sa problems ng climate.
You see what is faced, what the leadership is faced with throughout the world when it gets to food security. Kasi nga right now, we're faced with food insecurity.
Yes.
There's 8 billion people in the world or more. And how do you feed the mouths of 8 billion people on a daily basis? So this is a challenge to the leaderships of every country, every barangay, if you're concerned about the well-being of your people. That's your role as a leader. So how do you find the balance of providing food today and yet providing food 20 years from now or 10 years from now? When the
Yes.
food that you're eating today is creating a dilemma on the food production for 20 years, in
Yes.
next 20 years or next 10 years.
Oo.
This is what is being faced by so many. So there are always, that's why ngayon nga, the last 50, 60 years, degenerative agriculture yung atin kasi ginawa natin, mass production ng pagkain, full utilization of natural resources and clearing of the land that gives the balance so that food can be sustained for a duration of time,
Oo.
for a longer, sustainable. Yan ang kaya pinag-usapan na,
Oo.
how do you do sustainable agriculture?
Oo.
So dati akala nila sustainable yung ginagawa nila,
Right.
na
Kasi-
nagmo-monocropping. Yung pala, panpak.
One of the biggest issues that was faced the leadership before, kasi sabi nila, let's move everybody to an urban site, urban center.
Oo,
Kasi
yes.
let's put them in
Yes.
factories, let's get this manufacturing industries in place. Naging ganyan ang mindset ng marami.
But now we know nga, it's not the
Sustainable.
thing. So we have to change now.
Right, kasi
Our
we
choices.
become dependent on certain regions who are still very efficient agriculture to send their produce to us.
Correct.
Oo.
Eh,
But that in itself gives problems kasi yung transporting goods,
yes.
it's also expensive and it also adds to the greenhouse gas.
Pero
Ang dami-dami.
ano nga lang tanong ng mga tao, kung rice pala ay malaking problema, production nito, what are the options? Kumbaga,
Okay.
what should we take? And let's say, sabihin natin wheat is becoming a rare commodity dahil nga
Another
sa war
problem.
sa
Oo.
Europe, di ba? Ano ba ang pwede nating mas healthy na i-substitute? Kasi willing naman tayo to make some changes. Hindi ba?
Ito nga yung, these are the ones that are eye-openers sa atin.
Yeah,
Sa
so
lahat.
let's give them some answers so they can
Okay, you
figure
guys-
that out.
All of you can, send your suggestions. But point here is, you are
Garlic rice, meron
Rice pa din.
right.
Well, of course, now we're saying
Yeah.
you can have things like adlay and eat kamote
Adlay,
instead
yan,
of
maganda.
rice because kamote is
Kamote.
already like a whole vitamin.
Diversify
Andun na
on
siya.
your staples.
Yes, and find something
Diversification.
local.
Yes.
Food diversification
That's
ang
what we
tawag.
need.
And not
Diversity.
only white.
Kasi alam niyo yung rice.
Let's eat properly. Huwag kang sobra-sobra of something.
Totoo ba na mas nakakabusog ang black rice and red rice?
Oh, syempre.
Well, because it's
O
Kasi
yun, hindi
full
tayo
grain kasi yan.
gugutumin
Pero
kaagad.
sino naman
Grain
nagtatanim
siya
ng maraming black rice at red rice?
Oo.
Kasi nasanay na tayo, puro puting-puti ang ating, kahit yung sa ating kutis, gusto natin dito sa Pilipinas, puti palagi. Sorry.
But
Joke
you know,
lang yun,
sometimes it's not just the food that we choose, but our lifestyle talaga. We need to change.
Kaya
our
nga yung
ways.
going green.
Yeah, because for example, now meron mga shops, they're starting to give they have things in bulk. You bring your own container
Oo.
to get what you need, di ba? Takal-takal, which is actually old way, di ba? Dati when we were growing up,
When you buy oil in the palengke,
yeah, may dala kang lalagyan.
tinatakal.
Oo, tinatakal nila. So that's what they want us to go back to because that will lessen plastics, which is causing, it's a great contribution to the destruction of our
Alam
ecosystems,
nyo,
no? So it's not just what you eat, but the things pa that you do,
That's
your
why,
consumption
that's why nga during
practices.
the COVID,
Mm-mm.
marami sa atin nagkaroon ng, okay, let's grow some food kasi nahihirapan
Yeah.
tayo makakuha
Buti nga eh.
ng nutritious food eh.
Mhm.
Bigla malalaman mo pala, ay naku,
Wala nang ganito,
I have
wala
been
nang
putting
ganyan.
the health of my body and that of my children sa kamay ng mga
Mga nagpo-produce ng mga
producers
ganyan.
and
Oo.
suppliers and,
Yeah.
you know, the merchants
The producer ng mga
took over
our lives.
our lives.
Oo. And our pockets.
Yun. Kaya may nagsabi kanila yun, magaang sa bulsa.
Oo.
They were making us
At saka
spend.
actually, pag ano rin, aware ka sa diet mo and yung proper intake and the amount that you consume, magkakaroon din ng less overweight problems. Kasi, too much rice is also going to add to being obese or weight gain.
Overweight.
No?
Alam
Hindi
mo
ba?
what it is
So
today?
talagang i-control na rin yung amount and then you diversify. I like that word diversify
You know,
kasi it's good for the health talaga.
you know what it is in the world today, sa buong mundo there are only 7 common staples. Nabanggit ko ito noon. But in
Like last
general,
week. Oo.
there's only about 120 common foods na kinakain natin.
That have gone into mass production.
Has it gone into mass
Ang
production?
daming hindi nila
Hindi
na mass
nila.
produce.
Hindi na tayo yung katulad na banggit natin minsan, you have to go to see what are indigenous food in your
Local.
locality.
Oo.
And these are the ones that doesn't destroy nature.
Oo.
They grow on their own.
They
without
grow on their
our
own.
help. Oo.
It's healthy for your body. It's full of growth hormones.
Yeah.
Yung ganun klase.
And most of them are also medicinal.
Medicinal. It nourishes. And it's in your backyard.
Yes.
Tsaka
It's- or
seasonal,
if-
there's something else.
Or
every
let's say
season
if you
meron
are living in a community in the
different
Metro
things.
Manila, there's always some space somewhere.
Oo.
Kasi tayo, magtatayo tayo ng bahay, pero hindi natin bigyan ng spasyo where we can actually grow
Something.
something. Kasi we always think, oh yeah, I need my house to protect and to be comfortable for my body at nagugutom ka naman. O kaya nalalason ka ng mga pagkain na kinakain mo. It doesn't make sense, does it? Di ba?
We need to hook up with nature. Tingnan mo yung nature. Makakita ka ng crack sa road. Biglang may tutubo dyan something.
Di ano yun. Hindi coincidental lang yun. Hindi basta nangyayari. Actually, mangyayari yun. Whether sa ayaw natin at gusto. Yung nga, yung puno dito sa likod, tingnan niyo yan. She's about 11 years old now. When
Starting from 1 or 2, ano lang
Small
yan?
lang.
Dalawa
Sa
Ganyan
puno.
kaliit nung tinanim namin.
ngayon, ganyan kalaki. Hindi naman ako nagbigay ng fertilizer sa kanya.
We don't even really water.
Actually, sa kanya kami kumukuha ng tubig, sustansya, lahat para maging fertile yung soil namin. Yung ganun na nangyari. So, kumbaga na they're contained on their own and they grow using the elements that are around them and they also nourish the earth. And other living beings thrive because of them. And we, as gifted beings, where we have the potential to make choices on what is right and to make the world a better place, to make our life a better one, which is full of purpose, then we find we struggle. Ay, naku, may food insecurity ngayon. Then it's caused, you will find, you analyze it, it's caused by our own doing.
Yeah. Yes.
And you cannot say ignorance will prevail because we are intelligent beings. So, pagdating sa going green, when I share these things to you, it's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
It's something that you slowly go back to what
Change our
is
habits.
beneficial to all and to yourself.
Yes, going back, you mentioned going back. No? Balik tayo sa may bayong tayo, meron tayong sariling lalagyan. Kasi every bag of plastic nakaka-contribute sa problem. But whenever we shop, if we have our own bags that are reusable, ang laking tulong yan sa pagbawas ng basura. na nakakasagabal sa lahat ng
Nakasanayan kasi nagkaroon ng minsan imbalances sa wealth ng tao, and you will find a greater majority is not sharing the environment that we're supposed to be given equally. May ganun na factors eh. So ngayon, you will find, oh, here's this fellow, he's got 16 cars and vehicles in his house.
Dami.
Isa lang
Dami.
naman kailangan.
Isa lang
May
naman kailangan.
pupuntahan.
Di ba the color code daw? Kaya kailangan
Hindi,
nila
kahit
iba.
color
Hindi
code,
naman.
dalawa lang ang kailangan.
Kailangan mo.
Pero,
Sa color
alam nyo, di ba meron tayong tinatawag na sa buhay natin, when you talk about going green, it also means you ask this question, are you high maintenance or low maintenance?
Ayun yung footprint mo, tinatawag na
Footprint yun.
environmental footprint.
Yan.
What we need to grow, to be alive, kailangan medyo liitan natin yung ating needs, no? So-called needs.
Sa
Kasi-
pandemic, medyo maraming natanggal ng mga so-called luho, no? Hindi
Pero ngayon
tayo-
talaga-
Na-open nga yung eyes ng iba
Kasi-
na, oh, I don't need that pala.
You know,
Kasi wala.
If you're part of the whole planning system, you see, we have to look forward-looking tayo palagi.
Yes.
Our tendency is to look into our own palagi.
Kasi most people are not in the leadership position.
But yet at the
So at
same
least on our
time,
own thing, we should know what to do.
we should know. We should be able to apply and be to contribute to the betterment of the vision of how to make this place a
Yes.
better place.
And maybe influence nga other
Yeah,
people
change
to
minds.
join up and actually commit to an advocacy, no? Na
Yeah.
Alam
pwedeng
mo,
pagtrabahuan natin, di
Yes,
ba?
we each have to do our part.
about a few days ago, I had a meeting with a group called the Million Lights Group. So,
I think we mentioned them before.
we mentioned them
no?
before.
Oo.
Ngayon, meron kami ginawang proyekto kamakailan this last month. Okay? This program had to do with going to the most marginalized of all communities, which are the katutubos.
Yes.
So they were asking me, Tito, where can we go? So I said, can you
Because
go
they
to
had the lights, but they didn't. They were trying to find recipients.
recipients of a nice project? Kasi
Yes.
solar lights Namimigay sila ng solar lights na pwedeng ilagay nyo sa ulo nyo, naka-strap,
Para they don't need to use mga
lampara.
kerosene, which is
Kerosene.
very bad for the
Very
air
expensive
and
pa.
also dangerous. Di
Yeah.
ba? That's a cause of a lot of
Tsaka
fires.
it's fossil fuel.
Yun nga.
Eh na yan, marami ng solar ngayon eh. Dami na. Eh nagmumura pa siya.
Yes.
So you know what?
So this group, that's their
Ayan,
advocacy.
yung
They
nag-meeting
bring
kami, they
these
wanted
lights
to
around
report to us what happened, where they went. We send them to Bataan.
to the ITAS.
To the ITAS. Oh, Bataan. 8 bayan yan, ano? Pero sabi ko, dito kayo pumunta sa mga barangay na to, nandiyan talaga sila, nasa foothills sila o nasa mismong taas na sila ng bundok.
Yeah, you to cross the
Kagubatan
river,
yun.
go up the hill.
Okay. Make long story short, na yan.
Okay.
Nakita lang, gaganda ng video. Tuwan-tuwa yung mga AITA kasi ngayon daw, marami na silang pwedeng gawin. Na hindi na sila kailangan maghirap. Sabi nila, ay, ngayon, hindi na kami nagmamadali na makabalik sa aming village. Kung kami sa gubat, kasi we're gatherers eh. That means they gather food sa mga forest, no? So ngayon, sabi nila, kami naman AITA, hindi kami basta nagpuputol ng mga puno. Kasi ayan ang pangkabuhayan namin. Yan ang bumubuhay sa amin.
Yes, very nice. They know
Ang
it, they
ganda ng-
understand
ang ganda ng nila, yung connection nila, yung
Their
connectivity
view,
nila.
oo.
Hindi kami yung, kaya sabi nga ng isa, siguro makakakuha kami ng mga, ngayon may isa nagsabi, makakakuha kami ng mga wild frogs daw na marami sa tag-ulan.
So pagka hindi nila yun.
Kasi at night,
At
they can
night,
catch
sobrang
them,
daw dami.
di
So
ba?
nakakahuli sila. Yung ganun. So yun na
Because
raw
of
yung
the
pang-protein
solar
needs nila. Kasi may mga ganun eh.
Yeah.
Kasi ang hirap daw manghuli ng mga palaka
Siyempre, madilim.
pag may lampara. Saka umuulan.
Yes.
So anyway,
Yes.
I mean, these are, for me,
Tutuwa yung mga
sometimes,
tao. Even si Lola, there's this Lola, she was so happy. She said, kahit ganito akong katanda, may pakialam pa pala sila sa akin. Gusto nila akong tulungan.
alam nyo,
Yes,
Imagine
But
that
more than
those
anything else.
basic needs are
Wala
not
sila, no?
known by so many,
So many.
people, and they have no
But
access.
yet, we
and
take
yet
everything for granted because we just turn on the switch. If we have the capacity to pay our bill every month, our tendency is to always,
We want more.
yes,
Can I have more?
dagdagan natin ng comfort na gano'n, dagdagan pa
Yes.
natin. May mga, kumbaga anong tawag dyan, luho eh.
Oo.
So, when we are always in such a mindset, there is no limit to what we are doing and what we want to do. But when
The
you,
desire is limitless.
yes, but when you are aware of your even limitations in your existence in this world, and that you are not permanently here, and that such resources that we are using today are resources needed by the future generation, and they are your children and your children's children. Yung ganun kahaba yung panahon na yun eh.
Oo.
And we cannot be just saying,
Magtira naman tayo
oh,
sa
we have to.
kanila.
Yeah, when we talk about green, whatever you make, when you make changes in your life today, it will make a difference for the people of the future.
Yes. So it's now between being green and having green. No, which shall we choose?
Okay?
At
The
saka
green is the color, di ba? Ganun ngayon eh.
Green.
We have to always think, kung nasa Saudi Arabia ka,
green,
naghahanap
not
ka talaga
red,
palagi
okay?
ng green.
Oo.
And sometimes it takes a while for us, like planting trees. It takes a while for these trees to grow. So nurture them, as early as you can para rin ito, mas magbigay na talaga ng benefits.
Kasi minsan sa population kasi natin, if you live in the urban sites, when you talk about green, parang saan kami magtatanim?
Oo.
Ano,
Well,
lugar ang
sometimes you
pupuntahan
don't
namin?
have to plant. You just take care of the ones that are already
They
growing.
did.
Let's not cut them
Going
down.
green not only means you just planting.
Yes.
It
alagaan
begins
natin
with the
what's
very
there.
basic of feeding yourself and your family's needs. So
But-
when you start to be more conscientious and responsible, so you start to say, okay, I'm going to do away with plastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to do away with certain things that create issues for the future and for myself.
Oo.
We cannot get
and
away with it.
For example, animal production is something that has a big impact on climate change. Hindi ba? Dahil sila ay yung sa carbon, nag-increase ang ating
Oh,
They
greenhouse
use too much
effect, no?
land.
They use too much
water,
land with very
they
little
pollute the
to provide.
soil, the
Actually,
air.
when you talk about proteins, recently, ang ating presidente was talking about protein. So that means he was referring to there's a chicken shortage, there's pork shortage. Sabi niya, yung manok, we can probably do something about it, but with the hogs, may disease.
Oh, swine. Yung
Swine flu, yeah, yung
African
whatever.
swine flu.
Ayan. But punto dyan, sayang minsan naririnig mo na lang, there's other sources of protein.
Mas
Plus, if we
malinis.
grow food for human consumption directly, mas maraming mapapakain.
If you grow your rice properly, you will not to get the highly over-milled rice, yung tawag nila, may classification kasi ang bigas eh. Yung, ang tawag dyan eh, yung pag dinala mo sa miller, whole grain at well-milled. Kaya pag pumunta kayo ng palengke, makikita nyo yun, well-milled, whole grain. Yung mga ganon. Pag sinabing whole grain, buo pa
Andun
yung
pa yung
butil,
sustansya.
andun pa yung balat.
Parang mala brown rice.
Oo, may brown.
Oo.
Okay. Yung mga ganyan na bigas, pag yan ang kinain nyo, mas lalo yung whole grain,
O yan ang
it's
masustansya.
fat. Tsaka madali kayong
Andun yung
mabubusog.
nutrients.
At saka kagandahan, dahil mataas ang kanyang balat, yung kanyang roughage, yung
Ravage, yes.
The brand.
the brand. So yan ang nakaka-satiate
Yes.
ng inyong tiyan. At saka hindi
Hindi
kayo
ka basta magkakaroon ng diabetes.
hindi kayo kagagugutumin.
Right.
May mga ano yan eh.
No
Hindi
need
ko-
for two meriendas.
Actually, ako pag during convention, sabi ko, I'm not trying to stop Filipino to eat rice. I'm just saying, eat healthy rice.
Eat the better
And
one.
anything that you do in nature that benefits nature will benefit you.
Oo.
We're not going to stop people from changing. Kasi yun ang pag-uusapan palagi eh. Kasi question is, how about the economic situation? Kung economic situation, iniisip mo, profit ibig sabihin no.
Oh,
When you're thinking of
No
profits
problem
all
with
the time, I'm not going against the profits.
right.
But when you're profiting on things that is detrimental to the health of people and yourself, then that's
Lugi rin yan.
another
Later on.
another
Another
angle.
side, yeah.
May values kasi eh.
Oo.
Ano yan, hindi yan beneficial.
Yeah, kasi tayo as human
In
beings,
the long run, hindi talaga.
we can make the right choices and sound choices.
Ay, di ba mas masarap naman yung brown rice tsaka red rice and black rice? Yung linamnam, nandun matitikman mo talaga.
Marami nga kasi they won't even try. Parang, hindi, sanay ako sa puti.
Oo. But yun nga, masyado ng starchy yun eh. You know, but if you have
Saka tataas talaga yung glucose levels mo.
So we want something really healthy for our people, for the Filipinos. That's why we are introducing, di ba, si Tito Toby.
Not only introducing, I'm
Actually,
just bringing back.
reminding them
Meron
what we
tayong
used to
ganitong
have.
uring mga pagkain. Kaya katulad
Na
ngayon, ano,
nag-ibutan na.
nakipag-konferensya ako kamakailan dito sa liderato ng probinsya kasi bago yung aming governor. Sabi ko, alam nyo, sinasabi ng national, may pagkain tayong issue, shortage. Mauna na tayo. We have to cover our own backyards. What do? We don't expect national to decide for us. We decide ourselves what we need to do because we know our local conditions.
Yes.
And what is there that we need to change in people's ways. Because you have a climate issue, you have a food issue. But with the food issue, you also have the health issue of your people.
Yes. Mahal yan. Expensive item yan. Yung
Yes.
ano,
You
pag
want to-
nagkakasakit ang tao natin.
You know, you're thinking economics, kailangan alagaan
Sometimes,
ng tao.
minsan,
Oo.
kasi
Nagastos sa sakit eh.
Oo.
minsan pag nagbibilang ka nga ng kinikita mo, gutom, yung kumbaga unhealthy ka naman,
Oo.
ba't ka nagbibilang ng anong importante sa'yo?
Oo.
Di ba? So it's so vital for us to make this decision. Going green means simply, it's a lifestyle change. We've adopted a lifestyle that went against the grain of nature.
Yan.
So we should do something that is beneficial. Like I'm saying, these trees behind me, these plants behind me,
Live in harmony.
live in harmony. They're growing by nature's care, not my care. I just provide protection so nobody comes here and cuts them down. Yung ganun yung aking protection eh. But everything else, but yet these trees, these plants, everything around here nourishes everyone. Okay? When we start to be more responsive to our needs, there's no question of us living an unhealthy life and a life that is so stressful. On the end of the day, kasi we all like to be happier. Nobody's questioning that. Eh?
Oo. Oo.
But you also have to see that there are others who are yung lesser yung ano nila, yung capacities nila.
From
Yeah.
the nature.
But anyway, I think this is for another day we can talk
There's
about.
always
Maraming
a lot
salamat
more
sa
to
inyong
say.
lahat. Jay Ilagan, good morning. Ma'am Laris, good morning to you. Mary Salazar, good morning.
Elvira
Rowena Yap, good
Espiritu
morning.
And
also.
Francisco.
Yes. And Rowena Yap. Yes.
Okay, you
He's
guys
also
all take
with
care of
us.
yourselves
Thank you so
and
much.
Make
Analyze.
careful choices.
analyze what can change in your own homes, in your own backyard. Begin today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Pangkalusugan, pangkalikasan, go Palakas!